week of Paper Route. Ashley Nicole Moss, Corey, Holmes in the cut, and our basketball contributor, Steven Jackson, will be reporting live from, I think, Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know where he's at. Sometimes he's in Las Vegas. Oh, he's home. When you see that set, you know he's home. All right. Ashley got on me about saying Steven Jackson. She said, why are you calling him by his government name? Why I'm not calling him Five? Why I'm not calling him Stack?
I'm just saying, like.
No. Hey, guys, listen. This is another great week on Paper Route, okay? We're also back on SiriusXM on a new channel, Channel 103. If you guys are tuning in there, we thank you. We love you. Faction Talk, we thank you. We love you. But this show, Corey, you put together a hell of a show today, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's talking about basketball this week. Everybody's going to be talking about the Suns versus the Nuggets, that game. Should Joker be suspended or not? Everyone's going to be talking about the Lakers Warriors. LeBron James, can LeBron James do it again? Are you kidding me? Ashley, remember this conversation? I said the Lakers could go deep. You don't remember this conversation 3-4 weeks ago?
That's not what you said, but okay, go ahead.
Okay, the Heat versus the Knicks. What's happening with the Knicks? Ashley Nicole Moss, Stack, what's going on? 76ers and the Celtics. This show is filled with depth, a lot of depth, okay? There was a huge debate, a debate that went viral on this show, Ashley. Act like you're listening to me today. Put your phone down, please, Ashley.
I'm tweeting out the link to the show.
Okay,
do you not want me to do that?
Do that and get back to me because you crushed me. You and Steven Jackson. Okay,
Stop calling him that.
What do you want me to call him? That's his name. What do you want me to call him?
Call him Stack something. Stop calling him by his first and last name. It's crazy.
Let me listen. We're going to start this show. We have so much to talk about. I'm going to throw it to you, Corey, because I can banter for another 20 minutes. Yeah. I'm a little hungover. I'm still hungover.
What are you on?
Speed. I'm hungover from last night.
I feel like I'm sitting next to Pat McAfee. Jesus Christ.
Well, it's F1 weekend.
I'm aware.
And I chill all week, Stack. Is that better? I call him Stack.
Yeah, like.
And last night I went to Carbone Beach. And so, it was an open bar, free bar. It was awesome. Sponsored by American Express. And then after that, we went to like a place or two. I didn't get home until about 3 in the morning. But I was drinking, and I never drink like this. I was drinking from probably 3 o'clock to 3 a.m. So I'm a little hungover. So I'm going to pass it to you, Corey, get us in the show. And then we have this debate around depth, right? My point was proven this weekend, but go ahead.
Actually, it wasn't. Go ahead, Corey.
I know, right? Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Go ahead, Corey.
All right, well, you alluded to it. We're going to talk NBA playoffs. The Knickerbockers, they're in trouble. Game 4
Are they?
tonight. We'll talk about that later.
I thought we only lost one game.
Huh? Yeah.
Last time I checked, it was a 2-1 series, but okay, go ahead.
All right, we'll dive into that. Yeah, we'll dive into that later. Game 4 tonight, and same on the West Coast, right? Warriors say they have the Lakers in a Game 4 matchup tonight as well. And over the weekend, Bronny James committed to USC. We'll give you our reactions to that a little bit later as well. But first, Suns, they win both games at home this weekend to tie the series up 2-2. The Suns beat the Nuggets 129-124 with the help of a 36-point night from Devin Booker. He's been on a heater, to say the least. And Kevin Durant, he matched his point total with another 36. They combined for 72 points, those two did. But over the past 2 games, again, we got to talk about Booker. He's shot 79% from the field. Game 3, the game before last, he shot 20 for 25 for 47. And in this past game, again, 14 for 18 for 36 points. But as you guys was talking about with the depth conversation, Suns bench, they actually outscored the Denver's bench 40-11. Shamit, he had a huge game. I think he had,
Talk to me about
19 points. Yeah, no, he did his thing. Man. But I got to ask that question first, though, Ashley. How much of a factor was the Suns bench in Game 4?
I'm gonna let Brandon take what he thinks is a victory lap before I crush him. So go ahead, Brandon.
No. I don't want to do this. Let's start with our basketball
go
experts,
ahead.
right? I'm a football guy.
I'm gonna let you take the victory lap you think you have before I crush you. So go ahead.
I know, but that's not how we format the show. You can't see. You see, Ashley always trying to take the easy route.
I'm not taking the easy route.
When we talk basketball, you or Steven Jackson goes first. That's how it is. We talk football. I'll go first, and then you guys can add color.
Okay, you want me to go first?
You or Stack.
Okay, or Stack. You know what? Matter of fact, Stack, you can kick us off.
Yeah,
I'm a sit back because I want Brandon's energy. Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, I'm gonna go first then. So Brandon thinks that he's right, but he's wrong. All he did was further prove my point. And I don't need to go into like a long soliloquy of why I was right and have a whole thesis about this. I'm going to make this very short and simple
can you give
with basic math.
Who's watching now that didn't watch us all last week, can you give them an update or color to what we're talking about?
Okay, so Brandon and I all last week had a back and forth debate about him saying you don't need a bench to go ahead and win in the NBA. I said that's absolutely asinine and not true. Brandon said all the Suns need are DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker to win. Well, last time I checked, let me go ahead and
and there's more to it, though.
Let me go ahead and bring up the stat line. DeAndre Ayton had 8 points, and Chris Paul is hurt. So there goes 2 out of the 4 people that he was relying on to go ahead and make the Suns relevant. My whole case was that you can't rely on just Kevin Durant and Devin Booker to go ahead and play 40-plus minutes a game and score 30-plus minutes a game to win in this series. You need a bench. Last time I checked, let me go ahead and bring those numbers up again. Devin Booker, 40-plus minutes, 30-plus points. Kevin Durant, 40-plus minutes, 30-plus points, which I said was going to go ahead and be a key in winning this in addition to the bench. But I'm going to go ahead and bring up the numbers to make this very simple and give it back to Brandon. Since Brandon does not believe you need a bench in the NBA and all you need is Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, I'm going to go ahead and disprove that right now. Basic mathematics. The starting 5 of the Denver Nuggets scored 113 points. The starting 5 of the Phoenix Suns scored 88. Plus the 19 that Shamet gave off the bench, that still is only 107 points. If we were just looking at starters, the Suns would have lost. The reason that the Phoenix Suns beat the Denver Nuggets last night was because in addition to the 30-plus points, which I said that they were going to need to beat the Denver Nuggets, their bench also outscored the Denver bench 40-11, further proving my point that a bench can either make or break you in an NBA game. I rest my case.
Okay, so I appreciate you, Ashley. You had a phenomenal week last week, right? Not only did you create content that went extremely viral, and it was really at my demise, right?
Well, you were wrong, and you're still wrong.
Was I? We got to be careful with the words that we use, right?
Oh, okay.
So what you just said was cute. So let me give you your flowers first.
That's basic math.
Let me give you your flowers first. You had a phenomenal week. And see, this is why I love sports. This is why I love life, because if you continue just to push forward, sometimes you're high, sometimes you're low. Last week you were high. Right now you're starting off this week low.
No, okay? I'm not. You further proved. No, I did not. My point was further proven last night, and your point is further moved.
No, here we go. Watch this. Watch this. So first off, with the original question was, can the Suns get it done? Basically, Ashley said no.
That's not what I said.
What did you say?
What I said was they can't get it done unless Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are playing 40-plus minutes a game and score 30-plus. They don't have the same amount of depth as the Denver Nuggets do. I stand by that.
So we get to this whole conversation on depth. And you know what I said? I said, you don't need depth when you have Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and Chris Paul.
Which is inaccurate.
You don't need
your
that.
Point is your point literally has been.
No, it's not. This wasn't a conversation around how we're building our team, our organization. We're talking about a series, okay? Yes, they can't do this, night in, night out for 80-something games. But like you guys talked about last week, you and Stack, what happens? You start investing, you start playing the guys that's going to get it done, so you shorten your bench. You go from playing 12 guys in a row to have 12 guys in a rotation to potentially 8 or 9, right? So that was the conversation. We have to be clear there. We're talking about, can they get it done? I said yes. You guys laughed at me because I said they don't need depth in this situation.
But that's
and then you
not
go to the
true.
first game, and then you go to the first game, and remember this. Remember this conversation. The first game between the Suns and the Nuggets, who played deeper into their bench? It was the Suns.
Brandon, you're not making any sense.
I am making sense. Oh my goodness.
I think we got stuck.
You're not making any sense, though, Brandon.
Let me not make sense. Let me finish not making sense. Okay. And then I'll give it to you and Stack. Right? Because all I was talking about was they had enough to get it done now. I tried to highlight the first game, to debunk what you said about depth. Oh, the Nuggets, they have a deeper bench. They have depth. They didn't even use their depth, so it doesn't even matter in the playoffs. The whole conversation around depth doesn't even matter in the playoffs. And you and Stack said it last week where the rotation shrinks in the playoffs.
Brandon, so what are you talking about?
Oh, my goodness.
What are you saying?
Oh, my
Your
goodness.
whole point is not a point because it's been misproven last night.
No, Ashley.
The Phoenix Suns, you keep talking about Devin Booker and Kevin Durant as the sole factors and whether or not the Suns can beat the Denver Nuggets. My whole point is if you actually watch the game, or it didn't even have to watch the game, if you look at the box score and do the basic math, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and their 30-plus points still lose this game off the starting five of the Denver Nuggets if the bench does not contribute.
So let me ask you
Your
this
whole
question.
theory about not needing a bench, because you have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, is not true. The math is there.
All right, your math is not mathing. Ain't that what you say?
Oh, my. The math is there. It's basic math.
Let me just ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. So, Ashley, you have to really listen to what you said, and then we'll bring Stack into this conversation, right? Because we're going to go back and forth around this until the end of this postseason, right? At the beginning of this series, you said you need depth, right?
I said you need a bench.
You said the Nuggets they had more depth and they had a bench. The Suns didn't. So now you're saying the Suns have
Shamit's not a player that's going to give you 20 points per game every game in a series. He averages 8 points a game.
Okay.
Now, do I think that the Denver Nuggets are a deeper team? Yes, look at their starting five compared to the starting five of the Phoenix Suns. That does not negate the point that I said in order for the Suns to win, you need 30-plus from Devin Booker and Kevin Durant every single night, but you also need a contribution from the bench.
At me.
Because your point is still wrong, Brandon.
No, it's not. Because all I'm saying is this, and I'm gonna throw it to Stack. Stats doesn't matter. Numbers don't matter when you have Devin Booker and you have Kevin Durant.
That's not true.
It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. It's a player. They're players. They're phenomenal players.
Oh my God.
We have Devin Booker in the postseason. There's an argument that right now he's creating an argument that he's the best player in the NBA. We got Kevin Durant on this team. He's the best player on this team. He's the best player in the NBA right now. And then you have Kevin Durant, and then you last week tried to have this whole conversation around Kevin Durant not even being in the top 10 statistically as far as like one of the best scorers.
First of all, that's not what I said. That is not what I said.
Stack, I just want to say this. I'm going to throw it to you because I'm still a little tipsy from this weekend. Have a lot of tequila. Look, Stack is enjoying this. He is enjoying
You're not making any sense.
Stack, all I'm saying is this, brother. All right, when you have Kevin Durant and you have Devin Booker, all the schemes, all those numbers go out the window in this moment. This is playoff basketball. Okay, big dogs stand up. Big dogs go make the play. Big dogs in the big moments go make the play. And that's what they've been doing all postseason. Oh, is it sustainable? Yes, it's sustainable. You know why? Because they're the big dogs. If they got to play 40 minutes a night and they got to go for 35 points a night, that's what they got to do. So, Stack, I'm going to throw it to you.
Are you being for real right now?
Yes, I'm throwing it to Stack.
No, but before Stack answers, are you being for real right now?
I'm being 100%.
You can look at that box score, because I know you were out and about. I know you were out and about, so you didn't watch the game. You can look at that box score and tell me that all you needed was Kevin Durant and Devin Booker to win that game.
No, listen. I'm just happy that the series is tied 2-2.
But the series is tied in a counter to your point.
No, Ashley, I'm talking about the whole conversation.
I can't do it.
You're debating depth.
That's the reason they won.
I was never debating
Brandon,
depth.
I have you on video saying you don't need a bench if you have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, which is not true.
Ashley, you're not listening to me. What I'm saying is when you have Kevin Durant and you have Devin Booker, and I threw CP3 in there, who's hurt, and I threw 8 in there.
Who had 8 points.
Right? It doesn't matter. I said when you have those 4, I don't give a damn if you have the reigning MVP back-to-back. If Joker won 3 MVPs in a row, I don't care. I don't care if they have a better team. When you have those type of guys and they've only played 22, 23 games together, it doesn't matter. Find a way to get it done. That was my whole conversation. You threw depth in there, and you threw all these other things in there.
It's wrong.
I'll be wrong, but you'll see who wins this series. Stack, you'll see who wins this series. Stack, do you want to add to this? Because Ashley and I can argue all day about this whole depth conversation.
Well, first off, what's up, my friend Ashley? Because you never called me Steven Jackson one time. I honestly see that me and B not friends yet. But you still call me Steven Jackson.
Told you.
Second, bro. How many teams have a Booker and a KD? B. Marshall.
None.
Okay, so that's one team out of every other NBA team in the league. So you can't say depth doesn't matter. Depth doesn't matter. You can't say that. That's one example right there. Okay. And even though the rosters shrink during the playoffs, which they should, because your stars have to carry most of the games in the playoffs, it's going to be games where those stars are going to be tired a lot in this series because the game is more at stake. You're using more energy. Every possession matters. So they're gonna be tired a lot in that series. So those 7-8 guys that might not play in those game 1 and 2, they're gonna come in the play in game 4, 5, and 6 because those stars gonna be wear down. They human too. So depth does matter, but the stars are supposed to carry like that. And you're seeing two exceptional players do some exceptional shit right now. So I can understand what you're saying, but that's what they're supposed to do.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying. 5, because we are friends. We're brothers. Okay, he talking about
there you go.
Steven.
There you go.
Look. But oh no.
We 5. We real brothers. Not
we 5. And you look phenomenal today. Look at my brother. Look at my brother. Look at him. Got the hat on. Got the chains on. Looking phenomenal. But here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna push back on you, but I'm not gonna push back too much because people will laugh at me. Because like Brandon, you grew up playing football and you made it to the NFL. Stack grew up playing basketball. Probably played other sports as well. And then you play at the highest level in the NBA, and you won 2 championships. But come on, bro, a competitor is a competitor, okay? When we talk about, dogs, and we talk about that I don't care if you play tennis, basketball, football, some things travel with you. And what I'm saying is, whatever you have to do in these key moments, whether it's playoff, championship, basketball, championship, football, you got to do that. So you're talking about, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. How many people in the NBA, how many teams in the NBA have them? They don't. And that was my point. My point is when you have a Devin Booker and you have a Kevin Durant, it don't matter who you're going against. I don't give a damn if they're playing against, the Warriors right now. I don't care if they're playing against the Celtics right now. They have a chance to win the series, okay? I don't care if they play 20 games or 30 games because now the NBA, it's about who can score the basket. Y'all, they don't play defense like that anymore. Like I think this whole postseason play, there's been 1 or 2 games that haven't gone over 170 points, right, combined, right? Like nobody's playing real basketball like that. The Warriors and the Celtics. No, it wasn't the Warriors and the Celtics. It was the Heat. The Heat and the Bucks. They had a phenomenal series where they played some really good defense. So all I'm saying here is this.
I mean, AB, I don't mean to cut you off, but to help your stat, this is the first time in NBA that every regular season game and every team has scored over 80 points a game. So they ain't playing no defense.
There you go. And that's my point it was the same conversation that I was having 2 years ago when the Nets had Kyrie Irving, KD, and James Harden. They were like, they're heading into the playoffs and they've only played 5 to 6 or 7 games together. I said, don't matter if they can get in a rhythm in the postseason and score the basket. So Ashley, I understand that, you're hot right now. You're not enjoying.
I'm not hot. I don't understand. And I don't understand how you can watch that game or look at that box score and think that you're right.
No, it's not about the game, though, because you're right what you're saying about last night's.
Regardless, your whole point is irrelevant because the very thing that you said that you only need to win is the very thing that they still would have lost with.
No,
they needed the contribution, the 40 points 100%. From the bench. You sat here and said a bench does not matter in the NBA if you have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. That's not true because Kevin Durant and Devin Booker only scored 88 points together. That was not enough to beat the starting five of the Denver Nuggets. They won because of the 40 points from their bench. Even if you add in Shamit's 19 points, I believe it was, it's 107 total. They still lose the Denver Nuggets starting five.
Right.
You need the contribution of the bench. Two players cannot do that on their own. And God forbid one of them has an off night. You are now at a deficit of a starting five of the Denver Nuggets and a solid bench rotation that they have. So you can't sit here and say you don't need a bench when you have two superstars. That is not how basketball is played, and that's not how championships are won.
So that's where you lose me. You hear what you just said, and Stack, help me out here. Don't be the basketball expert right here. Be the mediator on this, okay? What you just said is where you lose me. That's not how basketball is played.
It's a team sport.
That's not how basketball is played, and that's not how championships are won. My whole thing when you went into this depth thing before this series, that the Nuggets have the advantage, have the edge because they have more depth, I took the other side because I'm like, when you have – there's alternatives to this. Some teams can win on defense. Some teams can win scoring. Some teams can win coaching. There could be a combination of two or three. And so when we go into these series, we can't go out there and say this team doesn't have a chance because they don't have depth or they don't have this. No. Sometimes stats, and this is why I brought up the numbers. I said when you have these type of players, statistics don't matter because players rise to the occasion.
But
the
that's
same
not
way,
true.
It is true. James Harden goes into the series. For them to have a chance, he has to drop 45. He did that twice this series, right?
Yeah,
he also stunk it up in the other two games, but it's James Harden who hasn't done this in a very long time. Really good players rise to the occasion. This is what the game is about. This is what sports is about. This is what makes the game so exciting is because people go out there and say, this team doesn't have a chance. These are the underdogs, and they find a way to get it done.
Nobody said the Suns didn't have a chance. What we were talking about was something very specific. I can hear BC in my ear. We're talking about something very specific. We're talking about you cannot rely on two players, and you sat here and said all you needed was Kevin Durant and Devin Booker to win this series. That is inaccurate. And you're saying numbers don't matter, but they 100% do matter. You have to look at the numbers because those two guys by themselves last night were not winning this game. Yeah. They weren't. They needed the help and the contribution of their bench. You can't rely on two guys having nights where they're scoring 30-plus and 40-plus minutes because anything can happen. You need the contribution of a bench. That is how championships are won. You cannot name me a team, and especially a Suns team, that's not a defensive powerhouse. It's not like they play great defense. They rely mostly on their scoring. And when you rely mostly on your scoring, you need more than two people to go ahead and score for you. You cannot name me a team that has won a championship without a bench.
You're beating a dead horse because I never said that the Suns didn't have depth.
I
have a follow-up question for you guys.
You said verbatim, Brandon.
You're not listening. You're not listening. Because you went out there and basically, like other people, went out there and tried to use numbers and say they don't have a chance because they're not as deep as the Nuggets. And I said, no. When you have Kevin Durant and you have Chris Paul and you have Devin Booker, all that other stuff goes out the window. So
I never said they didn't have a chance.
My point was basically that they're going to win the series, and that's the only conversation that I was getting into.
That's not true, Brandon. One, I never said they didn't have a chance, and two, you sat here verbatim and I quote said you do not need a bench in the NBA when you have Kevin Durant
and you have Devin Booker.
Well, look,
I understand your point when you're looking at last night's game, but they're getting it done so many different ways. They're getting it done from adjustments and coaching. They're getting it done from other guys contributing. They're getting it done with Devin Booker having a historical run. They're getting it done because KD is being KD. Absolutely. I saw the stat sheet last night. Joker went for 53 points.
Yeah, right.
That's crazy that they survived that.
And you know why they lost?
And then you have.
But do you know why they lost?
Jamal Murray. Then you have Jamal Murray.
The same reason the Suns won is the same reason the Denver Nuggets lost, because their bench only put up 11 points. Exactly. It proves my point again. Corey, take it. I can't.
Well, that's what I wanted to point out. That's what I wanted to point out, right?
You're just
the top two duos for each team. Booker and KD, they combined for 72 points. The duo for the Nuggets, Murray and Jokic, combined for 81 points, right? So where are those points needed that, it needs to come from the others, right? So my question is, who needs to step up for the Nuggets? Because the point I wanted to make was, if you take 2 threes away from Shamet, because Shamet was making clutch threes when it mattered, right? You take away 2 threes from them, now the Suns are in trouble, right? So, but for the Nuggets standpoint, who needs to step up if they look to take control of the series in Game 5? I'll start with you, Ashley.
The bench.
Let's go with Stack.
We'll start. Yeah, that's right. We have Stack now. Let's start with Stack.
For me, it's definitely Gordon. Gordon has to step his game up. He's been aggressive on defense. I give him that, but offensively, he's not giving them too much. And I understand he has a heavy task with guarding KD. I get it, but that's a part of the game. You got to play both ways. And I also think Jeff Green has to step up. He has to give him more offense. Jeff is one of the best finishers in the game right now, but he's just not aggressive on offense as he should be. I think they're relying too much on Jokic. Yeah, they relied on him all year, but it's only so much he can do in the playoffs. You're going to need other guys to step up. So those 2 guys for me could be key players in them, making it a little easier on Murray and Jokic to pull the series off.
Yeah. Ashley,
no, I agree. I also think I would like to see more from KCP. He was a factor. I believe it was in Game 2. But the bench needs to score more than 11 points. I mean, you should not see any player on your team drop 50+ and lose that game.
Right.
The bench, there was not a single person on that bench who produced double digits. That is a problem. So for me, I need to see a better contribution from them, but I also need to see a better contribution. I agree with Stack, Aaron Gordon, and like I said, KCP. I think that they get back to Denver. I think that you'll see a more complete game. Role players tend to play better at home than they do on the road. So I'm expecting to see a different Denver team that's more remnant of the Game 1-2 Denver team. But they definitely got to do more. Yeah. Like, Jokic should not be scoring that many points, and they're still walking away with an L. That's insane.
Yeah. I would say Michael Porter Jr., right?
I agree.
Like, what's happening there? Like,
everyone in the starting 5, truthfully, out of Jokic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to start another argument here because we're not finished with the first one. We will revisit. We will revisit that. But
let it go, B.
The Nuggets. I know,
listen to Stack. You're wrong. Let it go.
No.
Let it go.
All right. So
let it go.
The Nuggets, because they put this team together late, right after the trade deadline, or right before the trade deadline. KD getting to the Suns. They're a better team, right? They've had more experience together. It's not about one person. It's about them all contributing the way they've done it all year. And Michael Porter Jr. to me is a guy who hasn't really lived up to the expectation all year, right? Like, you go back a couple years ago, there was a conversation that he was a bust, right? And then he goes out there in 21 and he has some big games, right? They keep him. They get rid of a few guys because, like, yo, we can build with you. Where are you at? Like, all series, even the series before, he hasn't taken advantage of his moment. Stack, you agree with me or you disagree with me?
I've been said that. I've been said he wasn't the third guy for them.
But they banked on it, right? Like, they built it that way. Like, yo, he could be our third guy, and he's truly letting them down. Like, this dude, when you look at him and he flashes at time, you're like, yo, this dude has star qualities. He has game. But, man, he's just not consistent. So I would say Michael Porter Jr. for me needs to step up. And if he does that, the Nuggets, I mean, the Suns is definitely in trouble for sure. But I don't see that happening. He hasn't done it all year.
Yep. Game 5 tomorrow night. All right, moving on, guys. 76ers win a thriller in overtime. Vintage James Harden made another return after cashing in 42 points along with 8 rebounds, 9 assists, almost recorded a triple-double. And Joel Embiid added 34 points and 13 rebounds. 76ers, they beat the Celtics in overtime 116-115. Marcus Smart, he actually had a chance, at the end of regulation to actually hit a game-winning three-pointer, but they just didn't get the ball to him, in enough time, right? So I want to ask you guys, though, Stack, of course, I'll start with you. How dangerous are the 76ers if James Harden is aggressive on the offensive end?
Well, let me say one thing. James Harden is turning back the clock for sure.
Yeah.
Putting up numbers that he was putting up in Houston, and now he's doing it on the big stage in Philly in the playoffs. So kudos to him. And having Embiid back it helped him a lot. But I want to shoot some shots at Boston for the simple fact that this is the playoffs. Y'all just played in the NBA Finals last year. So correct me if I'm wrong, if y'all clearly understand what these games mean and how each game matters. They have not been paying attention to detail, or they must don't make scouting reports in the NBA no more. Like when I was in the NBA, especially in San Antonio, every game is a scouting report on every player, what they like to do, which way they like to drive, what the percentages they shoot in this spot, that spot. Like everything about the player. I haven't played against James much in my career, just a little bit, but I know from watching basketball, I know his game. I watch all the stars, and I've guarded a lot of stars, and I know their game. If the prolific and legendary scorer that James Harden is, if you sit there and let him pick which way to go through his legs and do all that, you're gonna see a lot of 40-point games. This is the playoffs. I'm gonna start there first. You keep sending him right in the pick and rolls and try to keep that ball in his right hand. I guarantee you that point percentage drop. It will drop tremendously because I'm not saying he can't go right, but he's a left-hand guy. And if you let him dribble, go through his legs, he get into his mojo. Ain't nobody in the world stopping that. Second, with him getting 40 points and all that, they had a chance to win the game. Jaylen Brown, the corner three is the easiest three-pointer in the game. You do not leave the corner to double a big man in the post when he's about to tie the game up. Not win it, but tie the game up and give y'all a chance to win it, maybe go in another overtime. But you leave the corner in a big game like that and give up a three to the guy who is the hottest player on the court. That's not paying attention to detail. That's not being locked into the moment. Even though James had a great game, Boston it was still their game to win. They gave that game away. And to finish it off, why would you wait so long when you down one? You got to give your chance. If you missed a shot, at least give yourself a chance to tip it in. They waited too long. Even though he made that shot, it was a bad shot and it was late. They made a lot of bad decisions at the end of the game to save their experienced team that just played in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I say with Boston. I have an echo in my ear now. First it was BC, now it's an echo.
Yeah, BC or Woo mute.
I think for me, one of my concerns about this Boston team, and it has been a concern about them, is their inability sometimes to close out these games that should be in their back pocket, or should be in their pocket rather. I'm still getting the echo, y'all. So for me, the only question mark that I have regarding the 76ers is James Harden's consistency, much like I have with Anthony Davis and the Lakers. Is how often in this series can he do this? And in the days that he can't do this, Boston will always go ahead and take advantage of that. I think that you need him to go ahead and be the consistent James Harden, the vintage James Harden, even if it's in a fraction of the time, because Joel Embiid, we don't know, I don't know at least how healthy he actually is. Sometimes he looks dominant and sometimes he looks like he's still in a lot of pain. James Harden is the X factor in the 76ers chance to go ahead and beat Boston. I'm still leaning towards Boston to win this series, but one thing about this team that makes me very concerned is sometimes their inability to close out these close games.
Right. Well, first I would say the only color I can add to this is I was extremely impressed with the 76ers and just fighting back, right? After that first game, nobody thought without Joel Embiid that they would be in position to actually make this competitive, and they go out there and they win game one.
Yeah.
And what happened after
Vintage
that?
Harden.
They made adjustments to Celtics, and they made this look like it wasn't even going. It was going to be a gentleman's sweep, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the 76ers came out, and it really made this exciting. Stack, you wanted to take some shots at the Celtics, and I want to give some flowers to the 76ers and Doc Rivers, right? And some of the things that you brought up as far as the adjustments around James Harden's game, right? So I came out after the second game, and I'm like, Doc Rivers was out coached. And this is classic Doc Rivers, right? I think everybody respects Doc Rivers. He's a really good coach. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He will be a Hall of Famer. But he gets out coached in the playoffs. He never gets it done. All these other coaches out there, they come out and they make adjustments, and you saw that in game two. James Harden come out in game one, 45 points. The adjustments that they made in the second game, they were more aggressive with James Harden, forcing him to go one way, picking him up full court, and that wasn't, some of those highlights was on like an article that I read, like The Athletic, last week, about like the adjustments that they made. Now, for them to be back in position, the 76ers made the adjustments. Doc Rivers did his thing. Great job, Doc Rivers, right? So I want to give Doc Rivers flowers because he came out, he found a way to get it done in game one. He was out-coached game two, game three, and then he did his thing. Like, great job, right? Doc Rivers, and I want to show him love there because a lot of us, tend to bash him or, highlight his shortcomings in the postseason, and this is going to be interesting down the stretch.
Do you feel like it was a Doc Rivers thing? I mean, the 76ers did blow a 17-point lead, though, in that game.
Yeah, absolutely, because if you look how they played James Harden.
And it went into overtime.
Right, like James Harden, they didn't allow James Harden to do what James Harden did the last game and the first game, right? So James Harden, if you watch how they played, they made adjustments on the offensive side. So I feel like whether it was Doc Rivers or Doc Rivers listening to Sam Cassell or Doc Rivers listening to Joel Embiid and James Harden saying, okay, we're going to make these adjustments, they made adjustments and they got better shots. Right?
I just think that James Harden wasn't as aggressive. I don't know if that's a Doc Rivers
He couldn't,
thing.
But in Stack, you can come here, and this is where I will definitely concede. I'm not conceding to the whole depth thing in the conversation we had earlier, but Doc Rivers, as far as like James Harden, you guys can come out there as basketball players and say, we're not going to let this guy beat us, right? So James Harden, he can create anytime he wants to create a shot, but if a team comes out and they take his game away, it's going to be difficult. So I don't know, Stack, do you think that Doc Rivers made the adjustments, or do you think it was just James Harden being more aggressive?
I would go with James Harden making his adjustments.
Yeah.
Because he was had one game, he's just not consistent. So I think just him just figuring it out. Joel Embiid wasn't there the first game, so he really didn't have to focus on spreading the ball around. He could just do his thing. But now he got Joel out there for 2 games. They kind of figuring out how to, they got to be that 1-2 punch. And James is getting comfortable again, and that's really scary for Boston. So I really say it's really James focusing on how they guard him and focusing on how he can get his shots off and be aggressive to carry this team, with Embiid not being healthy.
Right. And, Corey, we laughed at you last week as well. You came out and made a statement saying, well, they came out and maybe they were just trying to feel it out because Joel Embiid was back. Remember what you talked about last week?
I did.
You want to add some color to that? Because you may not – I think you're still wrong, but
nah, like I said, hey, my takes be making sense because I mean, look where we are, right? It's tied 2-2. So the Sixers, James now know what he needs to contribute in order to get a win, and Joel Embiid knows what he needs to contribute in order to get the win. So I'm interested to see how Game 5 turns out. And Stack, I wanted to ask you who you think has the edge, going into this next game.
I would say Boston. Like I said, they've been there before. They know how to make adjustments. I'm pretty sure Jaylen Brown is watched that film and killing himself for leaving James Harden in that corner. They looked at the end of the game, the plays they were supposed to make and how fast they should have went. They looked at all those things. So I think Boston is still a team that has the advantage to pull this series off.
Ashley, what you think? Who has the edge?
Agree. I'm still leaning towards Boston. I feel like I tend to lean more towards the more complete team, the team that doesn't have as much inconsistency. And while I do think that the Boston Celtics have a bad habit of playing down to their competition, and that's not to say that the 76ers are not a good basketball team, I just mean in terms of teams that they should be beating, they tend to play with their food a little bit. I have an echo again, guys. I can hear myself. I only need to hear myself once. Thank you. I do think that, I tend to lean towards teams like that. And also James Harden's inconsistency is the biggest question mark for me. I never know what version I'm going to get of him when the game starts. I know what version of the Boston Celtics I'm going to get in some aspect. Maybe I don't get a great game from Jason Tatum, but I know I'll get one from Jaylen Brown. I'll get one from Marcus Smart. Maybe I don't get one from Jaylen Brown, but I know I get one from... You just know the consistency factor comes from multiple people with the Boston Celtics. Whereas with the 76ers, I think that their success relies on James Harden being consistent throughout this entire series. And I don't know if he's capable of giving that. It seems like it's every other game, and every other game's not going to work.
They need some more consistency from Maxey, too. I think he could really help on the offensive end. Him and Tobias Harris. I feel like a good game from Tobias Harris is looming, too. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, he needs to have a big game.
Yeah, no, for real. All right, moving on, though, guys. Lakers, they beat the Warriors by 30 in Game 3.
Wow.
LeBron James, and the Lakers, they won 127-97 in Game 3. Anthony Davis, he was the leading scorer with 25 points and 13 rebounds. D'Angelo Russell started the game off hot, too, with 11 straight points to start the game. He had made 3 threes in that run there. But LeBron James, for the first time in his playoff career, didn't attempt a shot in the first quarter, which was crazy, right? But a testament to, the others, Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell. Stack, what impressed you the most about the Lakers in Game 3?
Just LeBron letting these young guys, help him win this game. We know LeBron can do some amazing, some unbelievable things in playoffs and games like this that he's done in his whole career. And I think at this age, his IQ is so high above everybody on the court that it's easy to see. And for him to let those young guys kind of get it started, and him and Russell and Anthony Davis kind of carry the load, then him come in and help finish the game and be the solid factor to carry and keep everybody in place, make some big plays, some big threes, and just play a big role in that team. It says a lot about his IQ, and that's scary. That's scary because everybody was saying all year, LeBron needs to let AD be the one guy and he be the two guy. You know what I'm saying? That's hard to say when you're talking about one of the best players of all time. But I just think LeBron's IQ right now, with his age, his IQ of the game is showing right now, and that's why they're able to have success and beat a team like Golden State by 30 in the second round.
Yeah. What stood out to you, Ashley?
Pretty much the same. I think that for me, though, it's interesting. I don't know. The Warriors have a similar issue, I feel like, as, the other teams that we discuss. I'm not going to recircle this conversation, but Jordan Poole not pulling his weight is a problem. You know what Steph's going to do. You know what Klay's going to do. You know what Draymond's going to do. Draymond doesn't put up a lot of points, but his game is elsewhere. Looney's game is elsewhere. Jordan Poole was always supposed to be the X factor. You were supposed to be able to rely on him for at least 20-plus points a game. What he's been going through, I don't know, but it's problematic because you're losing a big chunk of that offensive power.
His effort too, Ash. His effort is piss poor.
Yeah, it's horrendous. I mean, I've seen him in games not even dive for the ball. It's nothing to dive on the floor and try to get the ball. I've seen the ball roll from his feet and he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's insane. Effort is nothing. I don't know where the effort has gone with Jordan Poole. It seems like the Sacramento Kings series, he did not have a good series. Game 1, when the Warriors played, it looked like you were getting the version of Jordan Poole that you've been missing. It looked like he had Game 2 was it? No, Game 1 was when he took that crazy shot at the end, right?
You think he's having a delayed response from the slap? From training camp?
I don't. I just don't know. It's not a delayed response. I just don't know if he's equipped yet. Jordan Poole's young. I want to say, how old is Jordan Poole? 22 years old?
Listen. Yeah. Sometimes, Stack, you know this. Sometimes things happen in the locker room that just don't get out, right?
Just linger, right?
Maybe there's some more slaps happening in the locker room.
I don't think it's that.
I'm going to tell you what I think it is, Ash and B. I think this is what's bothering him. When they lost that game and they seen they couldn't play Draymond and Looney together, and they knew they had to start a guard, and he wasn't the first guard they came with. They came with JaMychal Green. I think that bothered him. He's still young, so I think he's pouting right now. Because his minutes are down. JaMychal and other guys, now Looney's coming off the bench, so now Looney's playing more minutes. He's not getting that many minutes. They're playing Moody now. So you know, he's a young guy. I think he's going through that pouting phase right now because that's why his effort is so low. That's just what I think.
Which is problematic because effort is something you can always give. You're not going to have, these great games, night in and night out, but you can always give effort. You can always go ahead and play defense. You can always dive on the floor for the ball. Like, you can always give that. And I think for me, the problem is he did not have a good series against Sacramento. The Warriors were still able to go ahead and pull that series out and win it in Game 7. And he has not bounced back from that in a multitude of ways. Offensively, he hasn't bounced back. Yes, that first game, he had a nice showing. It looked like he was on his way back. The last shot that he took, you can go ahead and argue that we did, whether it was a smart one, a dumb one, whatever the case may be. It just does not seem to me like he's been able to harness the energy that got him his bag. And that is a problem. Like, once you get paid, the work doesn't stop. Right. It's only now extra. There's an extra tier of it. You got your bag, show me you're worth it.
To the next level.
I don't know what his issue is, but it is problematic for the Warriors if they cannot get him on track for 20-plus points a game. They need that help.
Right. And I mean, Stack said it, right? As far as, a young player, potentially getting in his head. There's a lot of factors when it comes to these big moments. And it's sad because for the Warriors, because they have the edge. They're the better team.
They're more experienced also.
More experienced.
More battle-tested.
And for the Lakers to, win this series, they have to play their best basketball. Yeah. And that's not the same for the Warriors. So it's terrible if you're in that locker room and you're counting on a guy like that and he doesn't stand up. Stack, I'm extremely impressed with the Lakers defense, right? I know they're a top 5 defense, but that's the story here, right? And the effort that they're giving, it's them being consistent on that end. Like, how the hell do you chase Curry and Clay and even Poole and all these other guys around for these minutes night after night after night? That's the impressive thing for me. LeBron James not going out there and dominating on the offensive side, but doing his thing defensively is the story for me.
Well, when you got Anthony Davis getting his hands on every ball, every pass, blocking every shot, like when he's playing like that, you're going to look good on defense because he's really, they're forcing Steph to the paint. They're forcing all the guards to catch the ball and drive, not shoot threes. So they're running into Anthony Davis. They're not used to finishing over an athletic guy like that. And he is getting his hands on all those passes. Now it's to the point now where they're scared to even go up to the shot. They're turning the ball over. They got Clay trying to make plays coming off pick and rolls now because they pushing them down, not letting them come off the screen. Clay turning the ball over every time because he's not a playmaker. He's a shooter. So they doing a great job of putting them in uncomfortable positions. That's a great job by Donovan Ham, ex-coach who's been there, who's been in the locker room, who's been on the sideline, doing big games, especially with Milwaukee. So he understands how to take things away from certain guys to make it difficult. You got star players. You can't stop them. It's really hard to just stop them, but making it difficult, make them do something different in the game that they don't normally do, like Claymaker being a playmaker. It showed last game, and AD being an anchor in that paint, blocking shots, protecting that rim. They really turned their defense up.
So
last point on this though, I have two things. One that's concerning is the free throw the difference in free throws. That's the only thing that I'm looking at kind of sideways. That's a drastic difference.
It's been that way all year, though, right?
No, I'm just saying in this series. In this series, there's been a drastic difference in free throws. And that's something that you kind of look at sideways. But much like I feel about the 76ers and James Harden is what I feel about the Lakers and Anthony Davis, which is why I still lean towards the Warriors. I don't know what version of AD I get night in and night out. One day he gives me 30 points, 23 rebounds, and the next it's 11. The next game he gives me 40 points and 15 rebounds. The next it's 10. Anthony Davis, and I said this from the jump, AD is the X factor in this series. When Anthony Davis is game one, Anthony Davis, he is unstoppable. Yeah. He is dominant. He is one of the best to ever do it.
That's right.
But when he is off, this Lakers team feels that void drastically. And the Warriors are the team to take advantage of that. Now, also, this series is played every other night. Yeah. That is not beneficial for a player like Anthony Davis, who tends to get banged up and rocked a little bit more than the average player. He's the type of player who I believe would benefit more from a stretched out series, like a Suns-Nuggets series. He doesn't have that luxury, which is why I'm leaning towards the Warriors tonight, because we have seen AD is not that guy who can go ahead and do that consistently. Yeah. Those are the only two things. That's actually the only thing that leans me a little bit more towards the Warriors in this series.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys this question.
Draymond doing a great job on him too. Like that game one, Looney had to guard him, and Looney cannot guard AD. He can't do nothing with him. And they putting a lot of pressure on Draymond. The lack of defense with Golden State. Draymond got to guard AD and help and make up for all the mishaps and the miscommunication that the guards doing out there on the perimeter. They putting a lot of pressure on Draymond, man, and I got to give him kudos because he's stepping up and making it hard for AD, but he's also covering for all the mistakes the guards make it too. Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this question. I'll start with you, Ashley. Then we'll go to Stack. Or 5. I can't say Steven Jackson.
Yeah.
You said Stack. I'm cool with Stack.
Stack's
I know,
cool.
but I like Steven Jackson.
That's weird. That's
no, it's
weird.
not weird.
It's
like
weird.
everyone else calls him Stack. Like I stand out if I say Steven Jackson.
Yeah, you sound like a Fed when you say that.
Facts.
Right? It's like, what are you, a op? Like you tapping his phone too? Like what the hell?
That's my brother. So Ash, I'm gonna start with you. Can I call you Ash?
Okay, Brandon Tyrone Marshall. What do you want to talk about?
All right. So finish this, right? Who in how many games, right? So is it Lakers in 6? Is it Warriors in 6? Is it Lakers in 7? Warriors in 7? So what's your statement there?
I had Warriors in 6. I probably would extend it to Warriors in 7, just because the Lakers are playing a lot better than I anticipated they would. Anthony Davis is having better games when he is on than I anticipated he would. So I'll push it to Warriors in 7. Wouldn't be surprised if it's still Warriors in 6, but I'm going to stick with my Warriors pick. I just tend to lean towards, my gut leans towards them for a multitude of reasons still. Okay.
Stack?
I haven't made a pick for a series yet. I said before the playoffs started that the Warriors was going to win the finals in 5. So they're going to win this series. So I don't know. It don't matter how many games. I just know they're going to win the finals.
Oh, you did say that. That was Vegas. You made that statement when y'all was at the Wynn Hotel, and Paul Pierce looked at you like you was crazy.
I have a rematch of last year's finals. I have it Warriors Celtics.
Warriors Celtics.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all both going to be wrong.
Yeah.
That's it. Hold on. You have Warriors Celtics.
I have Warriors Celtics.
They may
in the NBA Finals this year. A rematch of last year.
May not make it through this series. I mean, it's still close.
We'll see, but
dang, Stack, you said Warriors in 5. I remember that. Why Paul look at you crazy?
I don't know. Paul always do that. Paul also said that Siakam was a franchise player. And Toronto ain't been back to the finals since Kawhi been gone.
All right, Lakers Warriors tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see how that one turns out. Moving on, Heat.
Jesus
handled
Christ.
The Knickerbockers at home, Game 3.
Why you call them Knickerbockers?
That's their name.
I know.
That's their government name. The Knickerbockers.
They're getting called the Knickerbockers until they beat the Heat. Jimmy Butler was the Heat's leading scorer with 28 points in the Heat's 105-86 win over the Knicks in Game 3. Jalen Brunson was the leading contributor for the Knicks. He had 20 points to go along with 8 assists and 6 rebounds. So I got to ask, and Stack, start with you. What stood out in the Heat's Game 3 win over the Knicks?
It's so hard to say goodbye.
Nah, Stack, you're not going to do us like this.
I'm trying to tell you.
Knickerbocker.
Tell them, Stack. Knickerbocker's in trouble.
Hey, man, check it out, man. As long as Jimmy Butler on that court, it's over. They don't have an answer for Jimmy Butler, man. As long as he on that court, they don't have a chance. I love Bronson. I love his heart. I love what he's doing. Now, what's my young fella name? The backup point guard.
Quickly.
I'm having brain like Quickly's out. Quickly's out now. They need Quickly. They ain't gonna have him for the next game. They just don't have an answer for Jimmy Butler, man. Jimmy Butler, his IQ and his game is just so high above everybody in this series. He's making his players on his team pick their level up. Kyle Lowry's coming with his experience. They're the tougher team. They're the more physical team.
They have more depth.
I mean, it's just Jimmy Butler, man. He's just showing why his team is doing some great things right now in the postseason.
Ashley, would you like to chime in?
For me, am I getting an echo again? No, we're good. Okay. For me, it was looking at the stats right now. I was at the game, unfortunately. I saw that in 4K. The bench wasn't really a big factor for me. I mean, the bench, there's only a 4-point difference between the Miami Heat bench and the Knicks bench in terms of scoring. So I'm not looking at that. Quickly got hot a little bit too late in the game. He had a couple of big 3-point shots that got it pretty close, and then it just got away from us. For me, the biggest factor was the starting five. RJ Barrett only had 14. Julius Randle only had 10. He had 14 rebounds, but only had 10 points. Josh Hart, 15-12. That's about average. Jalen Brunson, 26. But again, he got hot a little bit. He got hot in sporadic moments throughout the game. It wasn't consistent. Two things stood out to me in that game also. I was at that game right behind the basket, and it looked like the Knicks basket had like an invisible lid on it. Like nothing was falling. It was honestly insane. Like one side, the shots were going in, no problem. The other side, it was bouncing off this invisible cap that was on top of the basket. It was insane. I wasn't a fan of the shot selection. I also wasn't a fan of the constant threes that Jalen Brunson was taking, especially when he wasn't hitting them. He just was off. I think that the Knicks are going to have a much better game tonight. But I did say that game 3 was going to be the indicator of who had the edge in the series, because in game 1 and game 2, neither one of these teams saw each other with their big part of their offense. Mm-hmm. Julius Randle wasn't in one game when the Miami Heat won. Jimmy Butler wasn't in a game when the Knicks won. Game 3 was going to go ahead and be the deciding factor of who had the edge in the series. I personally don't believe that the Knicks, this series is far from over. Right. I don't think it ends in 5 like Corey believes. But you need a better showing from Julius Randle, from RJ Barrett. Jalen Brunson has to take better shots. And Tibbs, look. Tibbs, I know you're watching what I'm watching, Tibbs. I need better adjustments. You're getting out coached. Spoelstra's running circles around you, bro.
Ashley, who
He's running circles around you, bro.
Who was your third guy, Ashley?
Uh-oh.
Third guy what? Like our third highest scorer last time?
This is what I said last
like,
Thursday.
Who was your third guy? Like you can run a play for in the offense, like drop it down to him and he get y'all a bucket.
Say his name.
It's RJ Barrett. Top 3 goes RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson. Those are our 3.
Okay. Now Julian Randle, first of all, he's definitely had a great year, but his game is real limited. We seeing that in the playoffs. His game is limited. You don't let him go left. It's over. Nightmare, turning, spinning, and running people over. Mm-hmm. My thing is, I don't think RJ Barrett is that third guy, right? Because
Stack, you sound like me last week.
You got 2 guards, right? You got 2 guards. Basically, they're both left-handed and basically play the same way. Like, if RJ could post up more and come up off the wing, that'll make more sense, right? But I think by them playing so much alike and both being so left-hand dominant, I don't think that he's going to be that third guy that can get y'all over the hump. I feel like he's going to have to be somebody that's going to have to be a surprise off that roster to get them out this series.
Let me ask y'all this question.
I personally believe that surprises either Emmanuel Quickley or Quentin Grimes. Those guys have been, throughout the season for the New York Knicks, they have been the surprise factor. For some reason, Quentin Grimes can't get it cooking, can't get it moving. He hasn't really been put in situations either where I think are beneficial for him. But I think the difference between Julius and RJ is RJ is really good from that corner shot. That's that easiest shot to make in the NBA. He's good there. He's good with the little float. He's good with the Euro step. Julius is more dominant. He's the guy who's going to go ahead and bulldoze his way to the basket. RJ's not that guy. He's a little bit more elusive in his game, so you have to play them differently. And I just don't know if Tibbs right now is playing them to their strengths. He's kind of forcing them in the pockets he needs them, but he's not allowing them to cook in the spaces that have been beneficial to them throughout this entire season. And when you watch them throughout the entire season, when you allow them to play to their strengths, they cook. Julius Randle, I watched him drop 30-something down in the AAA. What is it called now? Whatever, the AAA I'm calling it. I can't keep up. The arena, because he was playing to his strengths, and that is using his size, using his dominance. RJ was cooking because he was being more elusive in his game. For some reason, Tibbs is not playing to their strengths. But also, I need Grimes, I need someone off that bench to do for me what they have done throughout this entire season, or we don't have a chance in hell.
Well,
they got to make adjustments because Spoelstra's doing a great job with the game.
Mm-hmm. He's cooking us. He's coaching circles around us.
He's been there though.
Yeah. I know. So I have to do this because we're also on Sirius XM right now. So I have to call you 5 by your government name, okay? So stick with me here. We have Ashley Nicole Moss here, Paper Route, live Monday through Thursday, noon to 3, right? Pre-recorded to listen on any audio platforms. You have Corey Holmes in the cut, myself, Brandon Marshall, and you have Steven Jackson, okay? But you have to say Stack or you have to say 5 if you know him. He doesn't want to be called Steven Jackson. His government, it's a little awkward, right, Ashley?
It's not that it's awkward. There's nothing wrong with his name. You just sound like a Fed when you say it.
I'm going to start embracing it, though.
No, like you don't.
I'm going to start embracing it because everyone calls him Stack, 5, 5, 5, 5. And I'm like, damn, why B. Marsh call him?
How many people do you walk up to and just call them by their first and last name?
I call you. I say all 3 of your names. What do I call you?
What
do I call you?
When you are talking to me, what do I call you? Well, Ashley Nicole is my name.
No, I say Ashley Nicole Moss.
No, you say it once when you intro me, but you don't do that throughout when you're talking to me directly.
Ashley, I'm always like Ashley Nicole Moss. Ashley Nicole Moss.
Okay, that's Fed-like. I don't like that.
Stack, what's your middle name? What's your middle name?
Jesse.
Whoa.
I said it like you wasn't expecting that
Steven
name.
Jesse.
Yeah, Brandon
Jackson.
Tyrone Marshall.
Yeah. Hey, really
That's
quickly,
like the most hood that called Tyrone.
Really quickly, because I want to get to a little cultural talk before we let Stack go. I know, do we have any more basketball after this?
No, this is it.
Oh, this is it. What was I going to say? Oh, do you guys see any of these teams? I listened to you and Ashley go back and forth, and I don't know if we even wasted time. Like, we'll never get this time back because in my mind, right, and I'll let you guys answer this, I don't see the Knicks or the Heat getting past, you know what I'm saying, the 76ers or the Celtics, right?
What does that matter?
I mean,
we're talking. This is between the Heat and the Knicks. We don't give a damn about those other teams.
So my question is this: Do they even have a chance? In my eyes, no. All right, y'all the basketball experts allegedly. Do y'all see this? Do y'all see the Heat or the Knicks advancing past the 76ers or the Celtics?
No.
I see Miami giving it a better shot than the Knicks, but I don't see neither one of them.
Right.
Advancing to the championship.
Right. No.
I don't think the Knicks are there yet. I think that the series, and I think that maybe Miami would have stood a better chance if they had Tyler Hero. Without him, I don't think they can get past the 76ers or Boston, but I agree. I think that it would be a more competitive series. Like I was in Game 7 when I was in Miami watching the game at the arena when Boston and Miami faced off for Game 7. And they didn't have Tyler Hero, or they had him for 20 minutes in that game, Corey, but he was basically hurt.
Yeah.
I think they need him to make that a closer series and possibly win it. The Knicks, however, I don't think we're there yet. This series particularly has shown that there's holes in the Knicks game to take them to the next level that they have to address.
One player away, Ash.
One player away, yeah.
One star away.
Yeah.
I like what you guys are doing. Tyler Hero, you brought him up. Mm-hmm. I saw him yesterday at F1 at the track.
With his cast?
Fly.
Tyler Hero's fly. Yeah. I saw him at the game, and he looked like he just walked off the set of Miami Vice. I said, okay, Tyler.
Bro, he's so fly, bro. Like you rock with Tyler Stack?
Yeah, he cool dude.
Oh man, I at first I did a double take because I'm like, is that Joe Burrow? Because you know Joey B. You can't compare him. Ash, I know you can't compare him when it comes to how they dress, but Joe Burrow be trying it too though. You know, obviously he's not even close to a Tyler Hero, but I'm like, damn, like, is that Joey B over there? And then he stood up and he was so tall. I was like, oh, that's Tyler Hero.
You were at the race. Did you happen to see the best quarterback in the NFC East there with his wide receiver number 1, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb?
They were there. Oh, I didn't see him.
Did you
see
him?
Yeah, they were there. Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a Cowboys fan? I forget Stack is a Cowboys fan.
How about them Cowboys?
That's
Listen,
right.
we coming back for our title. NFC East champs. Eagles, I hope you enjoyed it. Giants, we ain't worried about y'all. Commanders, we definitely not worried about y'all.
Let me put Stack on the spot here, right? And Stack, when we get through basketball season, are you still going to be able to contribute throughout the year? Maybe give us updates on basketball, and then also your take on football, because you talk boxing, you talk basketball, but I would love to hear your perspective on football. Will you be able to continue to contribute?
Bro, what kind of question is that?
See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I love Stack. Because like y'all laugh at me when I talk. No, Stack he be blessing me. When I be going crazy on the basketball, you know, he be giving me grace. He be giving me grace. You know what I'm saying? So, but they put us in a box though. They say we can't talk basketball, we can't talk football, we can't talk boxing. You know, I when I talk basketball, see y'all talking about y'all want to talk X's and O's and the numbers. I'm barbershop talk. That's what I am. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to understand who y'all talking to. Stack, how's the NFL season going to play out this year? What do you think? What's your prediction? 2 early predictions.
Well, one thing I'm loving that I'm going to see a lot of young black quarterbacks get a chance to do their thing. You know what I'm saying? It's getting better and better every year. I love to see that. Second, I'm glad, you know, I'm a miss Zeke, but I'm glad Pollard gets his chance to be the star running back. I think Pollard deserves his shot. I'm scared. I hope we have a backup plan because of the way he runs.
Yep.
He runs so hard and he stands up. I'm afraid he might get hurt. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put that on him, but I just hope we have another backup. I'm excited about our year, though. I'm excited about the moves we made, and hopefully Dak can get this cloud off of him and get us a chip.
Right. All right, that's great.
Oh, and I'm also happy Lamar Jackson got his bread. You know, I'm not a Baltimore fan, but I'm gonna be watching their games to see the young receiver they drafted, to have Odell over there. Lamar got his money. You know, I'm a big Lamar Jackson fan.
So number.
And fun fact, Brandon, real quick, there is after these most recent draft picks, the recent quarterbacks that were drafted into the NFL, it is now the most black quarterbacks in the NFL in history.
Right. That's
yeah.
it.
Come on. All right.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like that.
The league has its most black quarterbacks in NFL history.
Well, you know, the reason is because the quarterback position, they're asked to do different things now, right? The game is let's run, you got to be
more athletic.
You got to be mobile.
You don't think it's turning it back into a passing league, though?
It is, no, but you have to do both,
yes.
right? So they're looking like even Josh Allen. So you can put Josh Allen in that box. Josh Allen, he probably rushed for over 500-600 yards last year, right? So if you're not mobile in that pocket, then you're not going to have an opportunity. You don't have to be like a, Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson that can go for 100, 150 yards a game, but you got to be able to pick up those extra yards. It might be third down. They're playing 2-man. The defender's back is turned to everyone, and now the quarterback can just take off. You don't want the Tom Brady's or the Peyton Mannings anymore that's just stuck in the pocket.
The stagnant quarterback.
Yeah, it's definitely changing.
Well, they did an article that said that basically questioned if the era of the white quarterback being the majority in the NFL is a thing of the past. They kind of looked at the trajectory of quarterbacks so far and the trajectory of future quarterbacks, diving into some of the top prospects in high school right now, some that are making some noise in college, just, all around the mix. And they said that they believe eventually the black quarterback will be the majority in the NFL and the white quarterback will be the minority.
Absolutely, because what they said in the past was we weren't smart enough to be the quarterbacks, right? Like, you have to have a certain IQ. Even what they tried to do with, was it Stroud this year with his test? Oh, he's not capable of being a quarterback because he tested low, or his test wasn't great when it came to whatever that. It's not the Wonderlic what the new test is, but you look at what he did in high school, what he did in college. It's like, how do you say that he's competed against the best, you know, at his level and outperformed them? So it's idiotic to say that. And now you're seeing guys like the Lamar Jacksons of the world, the Justin Fields of the world. Even I put Patrick Mahomes in there. He's a guy that can crush you, obviously, in the pocket, but he moves as well.
Well, I wonder, Stack, do they have a test like that for when you're going through the draft process? Do they have a test like that for NBA players?
Test like what, Ash?
You know how, like, for quarterbacks,
we call it. We used to call it the Wonderlic test. So we go to the combine and you take like a written test, almost like a SAT, ACT. So all players had to take it. Now they got rid of the Wonderlic and it's another test. So is that what you're asking?
Yeah, it asks you like just crazy, like non-football related questions just to test your IQ in general. Like, what would you do if, I don't know, like the house was on fire? Like just crazy questions like that. Do they have one for the NBA or they don't care?
Yeah, when my rookie transition program was, I got drafted in 97. So around that time, I think I came in 2000. They had you go to this rookie transition program, and they had you do a whole bunch of unnecessary shit, Ash. So yeah, we definitely went through that. We definitely went through that.
Stack, before we let you go, I gotta let you guys know about my night last night. It was magical, and I'm being serious. I am a little tipsy. There's still a little tequila in my body right now. All right, this debate.
I'm jealous. I've been seeing you and Ashley. Y'all been playing these little games. Y'all been out drinking and partying. I haven't been invited to one party, bro. I'm jealous. Well,
listen. Well, you said you're going to contribute throughout football season, right? So we me and you, we got to figure out how that looks. Your schedule. But for me, I would love for you to come in studio. We're working on something like a pop-up in Miami Design District. So everybody is rocking with us that's in town can come see us, do paper route. Our shows live, similar to the experience that you guys had in Vegas, right? I love seeing all the smoke at Blue Wire Studios at the Wynn Hotel, and had people sitting there watching. So we'll have an experience like that, a little retail shop, but then also studio, and that's when this show to me is going to be dynamic when we have that experience.
You got to get Stack on the tour bus with your cousin.
That's right. So Stack, basically what I'm saying is, I would love for you if you can add this, because I know you be traveling. I don't know how you do it. Stack might be the only one that's busier than I am when it comes to this media thing. But yeah, you gotta stop in Miami, bro. You gotta come in Miami, come in studio with us. But last night.
I hate your glasses, by the way. Can I just say that?
Why?
I'm looking at your glasses. I just want to knock them off your face. They're annoying the hell out of me. I hate those glasses so much.
You got to get used to it.
It's like Where's Waldo meets like Urkel meets like rapper. It's driving me nuts.
That's Beto.
Yeah, my God, yes, yeah. Stack, this is me. I found it. Like, this is the frame for me. You know what I'm saying? The circular ones is me. Yeah. I found this shop in Soho. And it's called Cutler and Gross of London. Cutler and Gross of London. So, like, I have green coming, I have blue coming, I have yellow coming, Ashley, so you better get used to it.
Jesus.
This is it. I just can't afford too many. I got to ease into it. Stack, these is like $600. And then I changed the tint on there, you know what I'm saying? So that was an extra $100. Yeah, I'm leaning into these. Real quick, last night. So, Carbone Beach Club, or Carbone Beach. It's I would say a popular restaurant, turning historical. I said that right. Did I say that right? So Carbone, just stay with me, Ashley. They had this whole activation here, and last night I'm there in this room. There's some greats all over the room, and then they had a performance. Lauryn Hill came out, and I'm almost getting teary-eyed thinking about this. There were some people, they were going to their bathroom, they were sitting in the corner texting. They didn't even know what they was experiencing, bro. Lauryn Hill came out last night and she put on the show. It's like almost 2-hour performance, bro. Ashley,
I am real jealous now. That's crazy.
Right? Yo, Stack, like, man, if you guys know, y'all know, but Lauryn Hill, she's been through a lot. She's amazing. She's contributed so much to the culture. She doesn't do a lot, and for her to come out last night and put on that type of show, Ashley, you missed it. I wish you were there. I'm so sad that you missed it.
I wasn't invited.
I know. I should have texted you. I should have texted you.
That's a hefty price tag too. That's $3,500 a ticket.
I know it was expensive. It was $3, $3,000 to get.
I was at home watching the game.
Yeah. All right, Stack. We love you, man.
Lauren Hill, we got that. We gonna spend that 15 times for Lauren Hill.
Right.
Stack, we gotta do something cool. I like having these conversations live in front of people in public. But Stack, we gotta do something cool during the Super Bowl. You know, all the smoke. I am athlete. Let's do something cool. Put together an event. Let's bring people out. Get the room right. Have a couple performances. Let's do something dope. Have your people call my people.
Oh my God.
Hey, well, you know my people. So my people is Matt. You know, Matt,
right?
Like I tell y'all, I haven't been in one meeting with all the smoke. Matt has been handling all that, and I haven't missed a check. So that's how we rock. So I'm gonna plug you with Matt. Y'all the two bosses. I'm gonna let y'all handle it.
Love it, love it. I love Matt, bro. I love how y'all rocking, and Matt always returns my calls. So we're gonna do something dope. So all you guys out there, we got so much coming for y'all. All the smoke. Make sure you subscribe to their channel. Make sure you follow all their handles. You know, they're doing some cool things. I Am Athlete, we're doing some cool things. You know, we got this retail live experience coming hopefully in August. We get the keys July 15th, Ashley. And then we have to come in. We got to do a little demo. We got to do some design work. So it may take us 30 to 60 days, but we're going to be in there before football season, okay? And then we also got tours. We got Super Bowl. We got to start planning now. So that's why I'm putting Stack on notice right now. We love you, bro.
Love y'all too,
Stack,
man.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Appreciate y'all.
Yep. Ashley.
Yeah.
I love Stack.
Me too. Stack. Right.
Stack.
Can we go back to this debate real quick? Let's have a civilized debate now that he's off, because I feel like y'all team up on me.
No, we're not. We're going to Factor Foolish. Right, Corey?
Factor Foolish is next. You are right. You are right. Yep, so we're going to transition to our next segment, Factor Foolish. So in this segment, I'm going to read these two a statement. They got to determine whether it's fact or foolish and then give their explanation why. So to start us off, last week, Lamar Jackson, he spoke to the media and said that he wants to throw for 6,000 yards.
Yep.
Brandon actually asked us, fact or foolish, does he throw for 6,000 yards? I said foolish. But I kind of rephrased a new one for you guys this week. Fact or foolish, Lamar Jackson has the best statistical year of his career next season.
Fact. He's got weapons. He got OBJ. He got paid. He's feeling good. He got what he wanted. Clear mind. Only has to focus on football. Yeah. And I think, you can say that, I'm only here to play football. I'm only here to focus on football. But when you're not getting paid what you deserve to be paid, it's always lingering in the back of your mind. Like, you may not be actively thinking about it, but the thoughts are always there. I think that has now been pushed to the wayside, or it's fallen to the wayside. He can now really only focus on football. He got one of the two wide receivers that he asked for, OBJ. I think we're going to see a much better Lamar Jackson this season. I'm excited for him. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is fact. It's going to be difficult, though, Ashley, because one of the things that you didn't bring up was the new offensive coordinator, right? So he has to mesh with this offensive coordinator from a relationship standpoint, personality standpoint. I love when we do this 2 box here. Let's do more of this. I love this. But from a personality standpoint, from a relationship standpoint, it starts there. If they can get along in a day-to-day. You spend more time with your teammates and your coaches than you do your family, right? We're talking about soon as July hits, and even now, like during OTAs, you're there all day. It's damn near 7 days a week. You get an off day, but that Tuesday, which probably 95% of all NFL teams, they dedicate Tuesday to that off day. You have to have a mandatory day. Nowadays, there's some teams that's taking Mondays off, right? Which is a little foreign. But you're there 7 days a week, right? Because even in that off day, you got to get up there, recover, you got to get treatment, et cetera, et cetera. If they're able to mesh well there, and if Lamar Jackson digs, the offense and he picks it up, absolutely, right? Like forget who they added, right? And where they're at there. It's just this dude is entering his prime. This dude won an MVP, and he wasn't in his prime. What year is this for him? Is this year 6? He's going into year 6?
Year 6 sounds about right.
Yeah, like year 6 is like when it all starts coming together, right? Like Patrick Mahomes. Don't forget, Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl, and he came out after and said, "I can barely read defense." Right? So imagine these quarterbacks right now, they're going out there. They're familiar with this defensive coordinator, that defensive coordinator. They're not even – quarterbacks don't even play against players. They're playing against scheme. They're playing against defensive coordinators. So for Lamar Jackson to be able to come out the huddle and dissect everything that they're about to do or could potentially do within 10 seconds is the reason why Lamar Jackson – over these next couple years is going to be dangerous, right? He's going to be able to process faster. He's going to be able to come out and say, okay, I see this 70% of the time when you're in this, 3 and that safety's leaning this way, he's going to rock back to this way and it's going to go quarters. And then he's able to say, okay, now I got my 3 options here. If they take this away, then I'm going to come over here right away. Most quarterbacks back there like, we call them slow blinkers. Right, slow blinkers. Ashley is guys that's like, they take forever to make a decision, and they continue to make the same mistake. So I beat this one. This is a dead horse here, but fact.
All right, next one, guys.
I can't wait for football. Can you tell?
I can tell. I can see you're very excited.
Football season coming soon. All right, Luke Getsy, Bears offensive coordinator, told the Chicago Tribune. And this was about Justin Fields, his quarterback. Where he was at this time last year to where he is now, I think he's just light years ahead of where he was. And I feel like he has a ton of more to grow going forward. So we're excited to try to get the best out of him moving forward and keep working toward where we think he can go. So I want to ask you guys, and it's kind of like a futures bet almost, if you would. Fact or foolish, Justin Fields passes for over 2,500 yards and rushes for over 1,000 yards next season. Fact or foolish?
Right.
I'm gonna say foolish here.
Oh, okay.
I see him definitely eclipsing 2,500 yards, passing easy. He's more comfortable, just like I said. He's gonna be able to process quicker. But when you're doing that, he can easily rush for 1,000. I'm not sure. Did he do that last year?
He did. He rushed for 1,100 yards.
He rushed for 1,100. I think that they're going to give him more in the passing game. So I think he's going to be able to do more damage through the air, and he'll be more balanced this year. So I see him probably rushing for maybe 700 yards, 750 yards, and throwing for around 3,000.
More balanced, a little more balanced.
Can we tag that, mark that, so when it happens, we can come back in February, Ashley, and be like, damn, he said, let's say 3,200 yards through the air, 750 yards on the ground, and I say 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
Those 20 touchdowns, they all passing, or are you mixing in some rushing in there too?
Passing. Those are passing.
All passing?
That's passing.
Okay, clip it. Clip.
Yeah, let's do it. Did you already give your?
I'm not going to dive deep into that. I'm going to stick with that prediction and see if that comes true.
All right, we'll see. All right, next one, guys. The Carolina Panthers will have the best offense in the NFC South next season. Fact or foolish?
So NFC South.
It's Saints,
Falcons,
Bucks, Falcons.
Is that Madden?
Offense. This is a good question. Who is it? So Saints,
Falcons.
You got Derek Carr there.
You have Derek Carr. You have Kamara.
And you have Michael Thomas is back. Hopefully he's back. And they have Olave, and I think they may have drafted another receiver, maybe.
Yeah. So I'm taking Bucks out. Baker Mayfield, don't trust him. But you still have Mike Evans.
The Falcons, Ritter. I like him.
But what is no Falcons? I don't.
You have London. Is it Drake London is the receiver?
Yeah.
Drake London's nice. They have the tight end. What's the tight end's name? Sorry, no disrespect. I got a lot going on.
What's
the tight end's name?
I know, from Florida. Pitts.
Kyle
Pitts. And then they got Bijan Robinson too.
Yeah, Bijan Robinson. They're saying that he may be.
I'm taking the Bucks out.
Okay.
Bucks are going to be out because your quarterback's a big part of that offense. Baker Mayfield's a wild card. Taking him out. Saints.
They got potential.
Michael Thomas. I mean, his health is always. They have potential though. Falcons have a nice offense. I mean, they'll probably screw themselves out of winning games, but at least their offense looks good. I'm gonna go foolish.
Very good answer, Ashley.
Yeah, I'm going to go foolish.
Who are you going with?
I'm going to go Atlanta has the best offense in the NFC South.
Close. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people this year. But I'm going to go with the Saints. I'm going to go with experience. I'm going to go with Derek Carr. I'm going to go with Michael Thomas. I'm going to go with Alvin Kamara.
Okay.
I think Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara will play with a chip on their shoulder. I think they're going to get their careers back on track. When I say back on track, I mean playing at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was my last cup of tea. My last pit stop in the NFL was with the Saints. So I was in the locker room with those two guys, and they made up for 50% of our offense, right? And I can't even say we. Like, I was there literally like that, Ashley.
Was it like a week?
Ashley, I literally had a cup of tea and I had some oysters. Like, I was that guy. I was holding a clipboard. I was sitting there telling Michael Thomas, yeah, maybe add this to your recovery program. Alvin Kamara was phenomenal. I sat next to Alvin Kamara, and there was the other running back, Truce. What's his name? The other running back for the New Orleans Saints, yes.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, at that time, I thought it was Mark Ingram, no?
Mark Ingram, there you go.
Oh,
Spit
okay.
it out. There you go.
But what you said, Truce? Truce.
Oh, Big Truce.
Yeah, because I'm like,
where'd
whose
you say?
name
You
is
said
that?
Truce. I said,
whose name is Truce?
Big Truce.
Oh, I think that's the name of their podcast.
Yeah.
No, it was their
Truss,
like
though.
vibe when they were on the Falcon. I mean, the
Well, that was
Ravens.
Lamar's thing. But Mark Ingram and Cam Jordan's podcast is Truce, I believe. Big Truce or something like that.
Maybe, probably.
Anyways, I sat next to them. It was awesome. What was interesting there, and now I'm getting off topic here, but it's story time. Can I get 30 seconds of story time?
Yeah,
Sure.
Go ahead.
All right, story time.
We got ISO for story time?
Story time on Faction Talk, channel 103 on SiriusXM. Shout out to SiriusXM and Faction Talk, all the team over there. Marissa and everyone else getting us back on the radio. So thank you guys. But nothing moved until Drew Brees came in the locker room, Ashley. Right? So, like, you'll come in every day and you have an itinerary. It's like, boom, 8 o'clock, right? We got special teams meeting, 8:45. We transition to team meeting. And then after that, you might have a small little break. And then you have offense and defense meeting, so units, and then you go in and then you go into segments. So after the offensive coordinators go and defense coordinators go through their thing, then the wide receivers go to a room, the quarterbacks go to a room, blah, 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 right? And now you're getting to your individual matchup and what you need to do within that play or within the scheme, okay? And so, like, everything's, like, on schedule. In New Orleans, I'd be sitting there looking at the schedule like, damn, we're supposed to be transitioning into the indoor right now to do walkthrough. And everybody's just sitting there chilling.
Wait, pause your story real quick. I'm gonna wear your glasses while
you really don't like my
while
glasses.
you're telling the story, so you can see what I look at when I'm looking at you.
Oh my goodness, what's up with you? Shout out to this brand. Thank you. I told you guys I could be y'all influencer. That's look. Yeah, she likes it.
No,
Ashley, that is a good look.
I look
for you.
ridiculous.
Those don't
No,
look
that
bad,
doesn't
though,
look
honestly.
bad.
You said they look bad, right, Corey?
No, it doesn't look bad. It actually doesn't look bad.
Can we get in the chat? Can y'all
I
get in
can
the
make
chat?
anything look cute, though. I mean, let's be honest. But I'm just saying.
All right, give a shout out to that brand. Read the side of it, because I told them I can be an influencer. I said, hey, listen, they are expensive, guys.
Cutler and Gross of London, made in Italy, handmade in Italy.
Yeah, but you can get them in Soho, and they have a little online deal. But I rock with them.
I'm listening. Story time. Story time.
It's like $500 for those, but they have some other ones. So you got to save up for those. All right, anyway, so you look good. Drew Brees. When Drew Brees come in, that's when everybody moves. So I'll be sitting in there, and I'm like, yo, we're supposed to be transitioning to the indoor right now, and nobody's moving. It was, like, really lax. And then I'd be like, Alvin, like, aren't we supposed to be going to indoor? He'll look up. Look, is 9 over there? Nope, you good. You got time. And when Drew come in, then boom, everybody transition going to the next thing. I've never seen anything like that. That was an amazing experience being in New Orleans. I wish I had an opportunity to contribute and play. I feel like, I'm going to be honest here. I'm mad at, I was mad at Coach Payton, and I was mad at Drew, because they needed help on the other side. And I was at the end of my career.
Yeah.
But they threw the ball to Alvin and Michael Thomas every single play. And I was like, yo, you can put me backside. Just throw throw me a jump ball, throw me a slant, throw me a hitch. But they were so particular on what they wanted and the chemistry and continuity. Drew come out, ooh, I didn't feel him right there. Ooh, you supposed to be in that window. Like, for real.
And so I'm like, damn.
I feel like in the right situation, if they put me in there, we'd have won a Super Bowl.
Wow.
I feel like we'd have won a Super Bowl. We went and lost to who? The Dallas Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys?
And then just like they did for years, they go out there, have a phenomenal regular season, then implode in the postseason because teams adjusted. They're like, okay, we'll take out 41, we take out 11, and now what is Drew going to do? He can't throw. He's not throwing 50, 60 yards on the field, so it became really stagnant. So a little disappointed there, but we can get back on track. I know we're doing facts.
Andrew, did you just send me a photo of me and Arthur side by side saying that was my twin?
Let me see.
Arthur?
Oh, that's a good one.
I don't know if we can get a side by side on camera.
You might have to put that in the camera.
But
next factor, foolish.
Arthur that's a good one. All right, next
you get a
one.
side by. We gotta prep a side by side of Arthur before the show ends, so we can show Brandon what my twin looks like.
My glasses are growing on you.
That's not what we're saying.
Guess what's happening right now, and guess what's going to happen when we clip this and put it out. People they're not going to hear that this is a joke. That you're playing with these glasses. They're going to be like, oh, Ashley, she's trying something. What is this?
The chat. If you guys think these glasses look cute, give me a thumbs up. If you don't think they look cute and you think I look crazy, give me a thumbs down. I will not be offended. We're going to take it to the chat. We're going to go do a little poll.
That's too funny. All right, we'll see what the chat says. All right, next one, guys. Over the weekend, Bronny James announced his commitment to USC. He's now a USC Trojan. But I want to ask you, fact or foolish, Bronny James completes only one season at USC before entering the NBA draft.
One and done, baby. One and done. Absolutely fact. He's not going to go ahead and do more than 1 year at USC. I know Bron and the entire James family is extremely excited for him. He's the first person to go to college in the family. Bron, made that statement yesterday, and I know how big of a deal that must be. But I also know that LeBron and Bronny want to play together, and LeBron's window of playing at the level that he's playing.
Does Bronny want to play with his dad?
I'm sure they want.
He hasn't said that. That's been.
I believe that there's been clips of him saying that he would love the opportunity, maybe not play with him, but play against him in the NBA at some point, one or the other. And I think that the level of the way that LeBron's playing right now, as freakishly impressive as it is, it's gonna slowly start to dwindle. He's not going to be as dominant. I mean, he is almost 40. So I think that, waiting 4 years, waiting 3 years is unrealistic for Bronny to get out of USC. You can always go back to school and finish your degree. But yeah, I think that he's going to be a one and done.
So I can see this happening, and how cool would that be, right? Like, perfect world. AD stays healthy. All right, he's the guy. He's number one. Braun is Braun, right? Magic, facilitator, getting everybody in position, all of that. Give me my glasses back, too.
No, we're going to do the side-by-side of my twin.
And then Bronny coming in and contributing, right? Like, I don't know what his upside is. Gilbert Arenas, when we had him on the show a couple months ago, he said the kid can play, does need a little bit more time, but
I think he does too.
Right, but like, just can you imagine that? That's going to be one of the greatest sports stories ever. I'm going to give you these glasses. And let me ask you this question, Corey. Let me ask you this question, Corey and Ashley. All right.
Keon's taking pictures.
Let me ask you this question.
Your little
all right, Bronny James. He goes to USC. He plays 1 year. He's ready to go out. He's ready to come out. Right. It's clear. He said it, you said, his father definitely said it, like, I want to play with my son, right? We're going to make this happen. Let's say the Lakers are sitting at, 10 picking. Let's say they're not even a lottery team. Let's say they're at 15. Let's say he's a lottery player.
Okay, where are we going with this?
Would the teams before respectfully bow out and clear a path for Bronny to play with his father, right? Because of this story, right? Can you see that
photograph
happen?
my face real quick?
No, seriously, like, think about that though. Would you want to be the team? Would you want to be the team that
messed that up?
That, like, let's say the Kings are sitting at 8, the Lakers are at 12, and you pick Bronny.
This is an insane narrative that we're having, that LeBron has the entire NBA in his pocket. You think that any team 1 through 9 is going to be like, we're not going to take Bronny James. You know why? Because the Lakers have 10 and we want Bronny and LeBron to. They don't give a damn what LeBron wants. It's about my franchise. It's about what my team needs. Yeah. Listen,
I'm just saying, do you want to be that franchise?
I would be that franchise. Do you want to be that franchise?
Everybody wants to see it.
You know what? I'm going to tell you a story. The 76ers, I can't remember the draft, but the 76ers had the draft pick before the New York Knicks. I believe they were 3rd. We were 4th. I cannot remember who was in the draft. It'll come to me eventually. They took a point guard. They didn't need a point guard. They knew the Knicks wanted that point guard. Took a point guard. I cannot remember the name for the life of me. Maybe somebody can fact check it and tell me. They took the point guard that they knew the New York Knicks wanted. Didn't need one. At the time, I think they already had like 3 point guards on their roster. It was insane. Took them just because they could. You don't think another team's going to do the same thing?
What's the beef between the 76ers and the Knicks?
It's not about that. It's about I'm not going to allow you to take a star that could possibly change your franchise if I can get him first. And on top of that, Bronny James is going to be a huge pick coming out of USC. He's going to have a year of development playing in a collegiate program, which I think is going to be super beneficial for him. Yeah. Because he's good right now, but there's improvements that can happen. Right. That can happen in a collegiate program. It's a different speed. It's a different level of knowledge that's passed down. And also, you have your dad, but he didn't go to college, so it's just different. Him coming out of that program, whether it's a one and done, which I think it's going to be, whether it's 2 years, whatever the number is, he's going to be even better than he is now. You don't think a team who is a young team and looking for a focal point,
I think this is a real thing. I think it's a real thing.
Is going to want him and not wait to give him to the Lakers?
If the Lakers are sitting at 11 when Bronny comes out, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say Bronny is a lottery pick. Because that's still to be determined. We don't know if he's going to be a lottery pick. Right. We don't know if he's going to be a superstar at the next level, or if he makes it to the NBA. We still gotta wait and see. But if a team is sitting in front of the Lakers and Bron's still on the Lakers, I'm telling you that's the thing. I don't know if you want to be that team, that general manager.
I don't think they care, Brandon.
The NBA. Let me tell you why.
I don't think they care.
Let me tell you why. Think about this. Is there collusion in professional sports?
Yes.
There is, okay? We saw that with Lamar Jackson, right? Lamar Jackson says, I want to trade, and immediately 5-6 quarterback-needy teams came out. Owners said, we're not in the Lamar Jackson business. Wow, what happened? They were in their owners meeting, and they said, you know what? We're not going to let Lamar Jackson do this, so we need to team up and make sure this doesn't happen. So the NBA league meetings, owners meeting. Hey guys, you know what happens if Bronny and King James play together? Business is booming for all of us. More storylines, TV deals, all of that. More brands. You understand what's going to happen? Christmas Day games and all of that.
What does it have to do with the team?
The 10 teams are going to say this. We're going to take the business, the collective, over your individual need.
Brandon, be serious.
I think it's a real thing.
Be serious. Be for real. No team owner, no franchise, however you want to word it and spin it, is going to go ahead and say, you know what? If the Lakers get Bronny and LeBron to play together,
it's a great story for the NBA.
It's a great story for the NBA. They don't give a damn. They're worried about their own team. They're worried about their own fan base. They're worried about their own media deals. They're worried about their own ticket sales. They're worried about their own jersey sales. They don't give a crap what's happening with the Lakers.
Well, let me ask you this question then. So this happens. Let's say the Kings are the team. The Kings take Bronny. And then LeBron James is sitting there at 11, still in L.A. Does he then say, trade me? Get me out of here quietly? I'm not saying it's a mess. I'm saying, how does LeBron, this is a real goal for him. How does LeBron and Bronny actually get this done? It's going to happen. If LeBron is still in the NBA while Bronny is entering the NBA, he is going to suit up with his son. So tell me the scenario, how it happens.
I feel like, though, the storyline would still be a huge storyline because, like, say Bronny goes to the Kings, hypothetically.
Don't tell me about playing against each other. I'm talking about playing together.
No, but what's the difference? All the NBA would do is schedule a lot more Kings-Laker games than we've ever seen before, put them on Christmas Day.
Because they're business.
It would still be a huge storyline. Father and son playing against each other. Like, who's going to win? It's the Bronny, it's the James Bowl.
It's a great story. That's a great story.
Regardless of whether they're playing together or they're playing against each other, the storyline would still be huge. And the league would find a way to capitalize off of it. Obviously, playing together would be huge, but if they're playing on opposing teams, whatever those teams may be, I can guarantee you, if those teams only saw each other twice the season before, they'll see each other like 10 times that season.
Right.
It will be, they are going to capitalize out off of that one way or another. So I don't think a team's going to be like, Lakers, we're going to save him for you. You got it. No worries. Like, no.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I got something I wanted to point out because earlier you asked, does Bronny James want to play with LeBron James, right? And I want to ask the question, like, is Bronny thinking of this too? He's like the highest earning NIL, athlete at the amateur level, if you would, right? Mm-hmm. And on top of that, Bron's been saying this, like, Bronny's the first, person in our family to make it to college, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if we do one and done, then, he's obviously not getting a college education.
Are these things? Go back.
Yeah, no, but are these things that he's considering? Like, and, we hear, how do I phrase it? Uber wealthy athletes talk about, hey, I'm not really sharing this wealth with my kid, as he gets older and into adulthood.
Shaq said that.
Shaq said that. Floyd Mayweather came out and said that. Mm-hmm. Like, he would be leaving out a lot of money on the table if he just does one and done and goes to the NBA. Of course, he'd be making a lot in the NBA, but those brand deals probably wouldn't be as abundant as they would at the college level. So, like, what are y'all thoughts on that?
I think he gets huge brand deals if he goes pro.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's seeing money as a college athlete, he's going to see bank.
But this is also a time for him to develop too.
Yeah,
as
but
a
lot
player.
of the deals that he has now, we're talking Puma. We're talking. I believe.
He's with Puma.
I believe he's with. Is he with Puma?
No, he got to be with Nike. He's not. LeBron's not going to sign a lifetime deal with Nike.
Yeah, he's probably with Nike.
Maybe Nike.
Yeah, he has
whatever his deal he's. I believe he's also with Beats.
Right. He did something recently with a car. Maybe it was Kia or something like that.
I think so.
But wouldn't you say, like, the longer in college, the better for Bronny, though? Like, to give himself time to develop?
Bronny's an anomaly in terms of when it comes to making money because he's already making a lot of cash as a college athlete, a collegiate athlete with the NIL. But a lot of those deals, a lot of those brands that he's signed to will transition to professional. Beats by Dre will transition. Nike will obviously transition. If he has a Snickers deal, a Gatorade deal, all that will transition to the NBA, but on a much bigger scale. So I don't think he's the right. Although I agree with what you're saying,
he might have to average 20 points along with that too.
I agree with what you're saying that for some athletes, staying in college makes more sense as long as you can.
Right.
But that doesn't apply to
we talked about it with her.
We talked about it with Angel Reese. Like, for her, it makes more sense because WNBA players aren't making that money.
Right.
But for a Bronny James, that's not going to affect him. He's just going to make more. And that's any NBA player, honestly. Like, they're making more money regardless. So staying in college, there's money there. But in the NBA, there's a lot more.
Yeah, I think that to answer this question, Bronny James completes only one season at USC before entering the NBA draft. The number one factor, I think it's more about Bron than it is about Bronny, if I'm being honest, right? Like, even USC, you stay home. Why? Because it's easier for the family to make sure they're there to support you, right? I think that was a strategic move. I think from a business standpoint, like, look at the empire that LeBron has built with his friends and his family. And to me, I say that because he is the CEO of this family. He is the leader of this family. And he's looking at, like, how do we all make money together? How do we continue to expand on our empire? So I think they're strategically going to work together on the basketball side. And then when Bronny obviously gets to the NBA, he'll definitely become his own person and his own man. And, he'll make his own decisions in some capacity. But I feel like Bron is leading this whole movement on Bronny and what he's doing in basketball. And that's what a father's supposed to do, right? Like, LeBron James is, one of the greatest basketball players ever, and successful and strategic and very smart. I would say that I want to say he's a pioneer in strategically placing himself and putting themselves in the right situation. A lot of times players just say, you know what, you're giving me the most money, I'm going here. They're not looking at ownership. They're not looking, when I say ownership, like, is there consistency? Is there good ownership in place? What about management? What's happening at that level? And then obviously rosters. Guys are just going to the biggest opportunity, and the biggest opportunity usually for athletes are the biggest bag. So maybe I didn't answer the question, but I say you did. I say fact here. Yep. I say fact here.
Gotcha.
Bron is what for.
All right, moving on. We got a few more minutes. We got a few more factor foolishes. So these are kind of like almost bets, if you would, right? So if you wanted to hop in to a sports book and place your bets, we're going to help you out with that here. All right. Well, for the first one, this is about Anthony Davis, right? Anthony Davis in this series, or in the playoffs in general, hasn't recorded a consecutive 20-point game, right? He's had a good game, then it's an off night. Good game, off night. So, factor foolish. Anthony Davis records his first back-to-back 20-point night of the playoffs.
Foolish.
Oh.
I say fact. It's tough, it's hard, but for them to get it done, he has to play big. Ashley, you talked about it earlier. You talked about AD. He is the X factor, right? And I'm going with my gut here. Players look themselves in the mirror. He understands his moment, and he has to play big. He has to find a way. So I'm going to go fact here. And Ashley, I told you we're going to get you into betting. Told you. Told you. I'm not a bettor.
We're sneaking it in there.
Yeah, she's betting now.
All right, next one. Factor foolish. Steph Curry scores at least 30 points tonight versus the Lakers. The line is currently 29.5 on sports books.
He has to.
Yeah.
They need to win this game.
Yeah, must win.
And Jordan Poole, again, we spoke about it, is not really doing what Jordan Poole is on the floor to do, unless, he has a wake-up call tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You need Steph, you need Clay. You need them to come all systems a go, because right now that's all the team has to go ahead and be successful. I think they know that. They've been in this situation before. They've risen to the occasion before. I think you'll get points from other players. I mean, Jordan Poole will still score. He's just not going to give you what you need from him, I feel like. Hopefully he does. But I'm going fact with this.
Yep. I'm going to go foolish here. Steph Curry has a really good night tonight, but he falls short. He ends the night with 27 points. I'm betting the under.
Under. All right, last one, guys. Jimmy Butler, or shall I say Jimmy Buckets, scores more than 28 points tonight versus the Knicks. Factor foolish.
I'm going to go foolish here.
I'm leaning towards foolish also.
I'm going to go foolish here. I mean, you don't know what the hell you're going to get out of Jimmy Butler.
I think the Knicks win this one tonight, so I'm going to go foolish.
Okay, I'm going to go foolish, and I have no educated answer.
No, I'm going to go foolish, because I think the Knicks win this tonight, and I think the reason that the Knicks win this tonight is because Jimmy Butler's not as dominant tonight. And I don't think that you're going to get an out of the ordinary performance from Bam. You'll probably get his normal performance. I think that we'll get a better Julius Randle, a better RJ Barrett, a better Jalen Brunson. But I think Jimmy Butler scoring under 30 is going to be the other edge that the Knicks need to go ahead and secure game 4.
Okay.
He in 5, baby. Knickerbocker's dropping this one. Knickerbocker's dropping this one. That's it for Factor Foolish, though.
All right. Listen, guys. Ashley, Lauryn Hill was phenomenal last night. I wish you were there.
I didn't get the invite. Can I see the glasses? I think they have a side-by-side
for
me of my twin.
Leave my glasses alone. Where's the side-by-side?
I think we have a side-by-side of who I look like when I have these glasses on.
And tell me, you're enjoing these glasses.
No, I'm not. I just want to see the side-by-side.
Are they growing on you?
No, they're... I get it. I see it. I see it.
Keep it up there.
I get it. Yes, see, that's what you look like when you're wearing these glasses. That's what I look like.
Hey, listen, guys. No I Am show. No I Am show today. The Charlo brothers was such an amazing conversation. Getting amazing feedback there. So we want to let that breathe a little bit while we're retooling, coming out with some amazing episodes to end season 4. So we'll be back at it here in about 2 weeks. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. That's why we really want that to sit there so we can retool, we can re-energize. But go watch that episode if you haven't. There's a lot of banter. There's an interesting dynamic between men. There's a lot of machismo stuff happening, but then there's also a lot of vulnerability, right? We laughed, we cried, you know. It felt like we were in the locker room, right? So that was cool to see and experience. So we love you guys. We'll be back soon. Paper Route will be back tomorrow. We're here at 12. Ashley Nicole Moss, you're sitting here even this week. Last week you had a phenomenal week. You destroyed me in all your takes. You destroyed me in cornhole. Is it cornhole? Mm-hmm. Cornhole. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give you that, but you know you cheated a little bit. We'll save this for another time. You cheated a little bit. Corey, what did you do this weekend? Really quickly before we land the plane.
See, I was going. You know what? I will use this as an opportunity to talk trash about the Knickerbockers. I watched the Heat beat them. I watched the Heat beat the Knickerbockers.
So you did nothing.
I watched the Lakers beat the Warriors. I just watched a lot of basketball. That's all it was, really.
We love you guys. We will see you tomorrow. Paper Out.